Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the sequel that's actually a prequel. Not only that, but it is actually my favorite of the classic FNAF games. I still remember playing this game on release, and it holds a very special place in my heart. And now is actually the perfect time to talk about this game because I believe next week we're going to be getting a trailer for the next FNAF movie, which is based on this game. But with that said, let's get into the gameplay. FNAF 2 doesn't have the doors and lights seen in the very first game. All we have access to is the cameras, an empty Freddy head, and a flashlight. And these tools are pretty much our main method of defense when it comes to the animatronics in this game. This game has a roster of 11 animatronics compared to the first game's 4. We see the introduction of fan-favorite characters like the toy animatronics and the withered animatronics. Although, I remember there being one character that people really seem to like. I can't quite place my finger on it. But most of the animatronics in this game are actually dealt with using the empty Freddy head. You use this to trick them into thinking you're one of them, and they go away and leave you alone for a little bit. You also have the flashlight, which you can use to not only get rid of Foxy from killing you, but you can also use it to see what's going on in the cameras and get a better look at them. You also need to make sure that you're winding up the music box throughout the night, as if you don't, the puppet will escape and get into your office. The music box also drains faster as you progress through the game. That sounds like a lot, but because most of the animatronics are dealt with using the same methods, it's really not that bad. But that actually is a criticism that a lot of people throw at this game, is that they wish there was a variety of ways to deal with the animatronics rather than just using the Freddy head. And while I do understand where this criticism comes from, I have to admit I actually like the way the gameplay is in this game. And the main reason for that is just because of how chaotic it is. The animatronics are actually very aggressive in this game, and as a result, they'll try to swarm you all at once, so I find it really fun having to deal with Foxy, then having to put on the Freddy head to deal with someone like Toy Bonnie or something, all while trying to make sure the music box is wound up. It's very fast-paced, and I find it really fun, and I also think it adds to the horror of the game. Not only that, but Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was the first game in the series to have proper cutscenes. We get to see the story through these cutscenes, but we also get to see it through these death minigames, which actually gave us a lot of insight onto what was actually happening at the Freddy's locations. These minigames are iconic, and they gave us so many important details to the lore at the time. And they were also our only way of piecing together what the story even was at the time of these games' release. And just like the first game, FNAF 2 actually had a lot of Easter eggs to find. Part of the fun of this game was trying to find every secret hidden within and trying to show it online. However, this did start a lot of funny hoaxes, and people claiming that they found a secret when in reality it was actually just a Photoshop. The atmosphere in this game was also really good, just like the first game. Although I will admit the first game had a much stronger atmosphere compared to this one. I have to admit though, the FNAF 2 ambience noises are just permanently ingrained in my mind. I actually have a lot more nostalgia for this game compared to the first, just because I played it so much more when I was younger. I still remember getting the Shadow Bonnie Easter egg, which actually crashes the game, which is pretty funny. I still love this game years later. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of its chaotic and frantic gameplay, but I enjoy it, and I also really love all of the things that it brought to the lore, and I think it's just really held up so well, just like the first game. Overall, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a great game. It builds upon everything that made the first game so great, and it adds its own unique spin on things. Also, it gave us like the coolest animatronics like Mangle and Withered Bonnie. I'm really excited to see how FNAF Movie 2 will adapt this game. But those are just my thoughts on FNAF 2, and I'll see you in whatever my next project ends up being.